recognise the state of Palestine and the needs of the Palestinian
Jerusalem, unarmed people marching to the wall and they're shooting them. Suppression is a question, resistance is the answer. Long live Palestine! Long live Palestine! This is for Palestine, Ramallah, West Bank, Gaza. This is for the child that is searching for an answer. Wish I could take your tears and replace them with laughter. Long live Palestine! Long live Palestine! If Ibrahim Abu Thuraya could resist without a wheelchair.
Issue and the brutality of the Israeli occupation in intensifying the suffering of the indigenous people of Palestine and ethnically cleansing them. The G7 are countries who on the record say they are committed to upholding the rules-based international order. Adherence to international law is a fundamental part of this order. It is also accepted that if any country is exempted from international law, it gives permission to others to exempt themselves. The continued disposition, ethnic cleansing, and the most recent on Gaza remind us that for 73 years, Palestinians have been waiting for international law to be enforced against Israel.
Exist, resist, return. Thank you, Ragad. As she said, the G7 leaders are meeting right now in Britain. We need to send them a message. Stop arming Israel. 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 Stop arming Israel.
I stand here because I have learned from our prophet Amos and our prophet Isaiah, from slaves who fled Pharaoh's bondage, and from Maccabees who fought colonial power and won. And the lesson I have learned from my faith and from my God is this: refuse to be humiliated, refuse to surrender, even in the face of overwhelming power. Trust that the human spirit will not be forever shackled, and from the river to the sea, no oppression is invincible.
We're all here for one reason. It's because we want one thing. 1 second.
Make some noise.
All right, listen. We're all here because we want one thing. I think we all know what that one thing is. So I want you to tell me loud and clear. I want you to tell me loud and clear. What do you want? Justice! When do you want it?
Now! 1, 2, 3, 4. Occupation no more. 5, 6, 7, 8. Israel is a terrorist state.
Oh, justice! When do you want it? Now! What do you want? Justice! When do you want it? Now! What do you want? Justice! When do you want it? Now! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine!
Is that for sale? So we came down today to show solidarity with the Palestinian people that are being oppressed and are being dispossessed of their homes. Alhamdulillah, it went well, I think. Not as many people as the previous protests, but I think that might have been because the last one was an actual march, whereas this one we're just outside Downing Street. But considering that this week is the G7 summit going on, I think it went well, especially to raise awareness to people that this cause is still ongoing. It's not just because the ceasefire has happened already, not the Palestinian people's struggle hasn't ended yet. It's still ongoing, and we will continue to stand and fight with them until they have been freed.
The cops in the
Basically, I think every voice adding to other voices will make a change. We come to get the idea out for what's happening in Palestine on the social media, because media are not covering much. So that's the reason why. And we all know what's happening in Palestine. Children being killed, land being kidnapped, land being taken. So that's the main reason, and nobody like injustice. After today we have to continue. It's not a matter of 1 or 2 protests. It will take a lot of protests, and not just in London, everywhere in the world, as far as I know. Yeah, to get our voice out there.
Assalamu alaikum, my name is Abdurrahman. I'm a Palestinian activist. Today we came to show a clear stance to the government that we're not happy with what they're doing. Right now our Prime Minister's in the G7 summit meeting with world leaders, but at the same time he's hiding away from the fact that he and his government are complicit in the ethnic cleansing and the massacring of my people, the forced demolition of the Palestinians' homes under bogus legal claims, and our government is supporting that government, the Israeli government. They are funding the Israeli government, they're giving them the arms, they're trying to make illegal BDS, the Boycott, Divestment, Sanctions campaign, and in that they are hindering a chance for Palestinians to seek justice and to seek some alleviation in their state. Today's turnout was actually quite surprising in a good way, because we felt like after the last march, which was estimated around, I think, between 180 and 200,000, what we saw is a gap of like a week or two, and we thought that maybe the momentum would decrease, that people wouldn't have the energy. But alhamdulillah, a lot of people did turn up. The energy was really, really high. The momentum was very, very high as well, and it's very reassuring to see. Now what we need to do, now what we need to emphasize is that Palestine is not a trend, and no cause for justice is a trend. This should be an ongoing fight, an ongoing cause, in the sake of removing the plight of the Palestinian people. It's interesting because I know a lot of people will say protesting doesn't really change much, or it doesn't do anything permanently. Well, we've done the first step. The first step is channeling and directing public opinion. And alhamdulillah, with the power of protesting and social media, we were able to shift the narrative. We were able to reclaim the narrative for the cause, for the Palestinian people, showing the truth on the ground. And when we protest, we show an anger, show that people aren't happy. We've made it vocal, and the government have responded. Over 400,000 signatures have allowed for the approval of the petition to discuss what's going on in Palestine in Parliament, and I think that's coming up on Monday, if I'm not mistaken. That wouldn't have happened without protesting and without raising awareness about the issue. Now the second step, what we need to do is see change from the government. The more people that we show coming on the streets unhappy, and show with their clear stance their support for the Palestinian people, the more likely the government will feel pressured to do something.
It's a politics thing.
Yeah.
I don't get involved with it. When people start, I can't support nothing I don't know of.
Of course.
This war's been going on from the 90s.
You've got to know the background.
I can't support this. I can support it, but I have to research it. Do you know how many years I take back to research that?
Yeah.
This has been going back from the 90s.